I died once. Well, not entirely. But on a sunny day in 2008, when the world decided my spine would shatter and my legs would never move again, a part of me did. The part that believed my worth was dependent on other people's comfort, on their expectations, on being the good girl, the easy woman. And in that hospital bed, paralyzed, broken, and helpless, I remember looking at the ceiling and asking the universe a question. Now what? Who is left to live for if not for me? That, my friends, was the first moment I finally put myself first, the moment my life actually began. We spend our lives, don't we, building beautiful, intricate walls around other people. We are architects of other people's happiness, the tireless construction workers of their dreams. We make sure our parents are proud, our spouses are supported, our children are successful, our bosses are pleased. We give and we give until the well is dry, until the tank is empty, until all that is left is a hollow echo where our own heart should be beating. We call this sacrifice. We call this love, but I call it self-betrayal. Today, I want to talk about the most radical act of self-love a human being can commit. It is not bubble baths or expensive holidays. It is the simple, terrifying, glorious decision to step out of the shadows you have cast for others and to finally, truly put yourself first. It is a moment of reckoning. It is a moment of fierce liberation. And it is a moment that will change everything. The iron law of boundaries. You are not a well. You are not an infinite resource, a magical fountain that refills itself while you sleep, dedicated solely to quenching the thirst of everyone who walks past. Yet, how many of us live our lives as if we are? We treat our energy, our time, and our very essence as a communal property, open to withdrawal, without limit, without question, and certainly without an appointment. We carry the burdens of our friends, the anxieties of our families, the demands of our colleagues, stacking them up on our shoulders until we can no longer see the sun. And what is the price of this supposed generosity? It is the slow, insidious draining of your own life force. When you nod and smile and whisper yes to the fifth request this week that goes against your core need for rest, you are, in that very moment, screaming a loud, cruel no to the silent, exhausted person inside you. You are choosing their comfort over your sanity, their momentary happiness over your long-term peace. Is that love? I ask you, is that self-respect? It is not. It is a profound act of self-abandonment, dressed up in the noble cloak of martyrdom. The concept of a boundary is not about being cruel or cold. It is about being fiercely, lovingly responsible for the one life you have been given. It is a line you draw in the sand, not to keep people out of your life, but to define the sacred space where your soul can breathe and be safe. This line is non-negotiable. It is the perimeter fence around your inner kingdom, and you are the only guard with the keys. This boundary work is not easy. It will require you to use muscles you have long let atrophy, the muscle of assertion, the muscle of self-worth. When you finally stand up and say, I cannot take that on, or my time is already allocated, you will be met with resistance. You will see faces twist into expressions of disappointment, confusion, and sometimes even resentment. This is the test. Because the disappointment of others is a consequence of their expectations, and those expectations are theirs to manage, not yours. We have been conditioned to believe that we are responsible for regulating the emotional temperature of every room we enter. The moment you decide to protect your peace, you shatter this myth. You must learn to sit with the discomfort of another person's unhappiness, knowing that you are protecting your own light. The boundary is your declaration of sovereign territory. It tells the world, I value myself enough to protect my space. It is the foundation upon which true connection is built. Because a relationship without boundaries is not connection, it is entanglement, a codependent knot that eventually strangles both parties. You must choose self-preservation over performance. Start small. Reclaim 5 minutes of quiet, decline one non-essential meeting. Say, I need to think about that instead of a knee-jerk yes. Every small no to an outside demand is a monumental yes to your deepest self. And this cumulative self-affirmation is the ultimate unstoppable force of liberation. Reclaiming your narrative, the art of the bouncing back. We all have a story that was written for us. A draft dictated by circumstance, by tragedy, by an accident, a betrayal, or simply by the labels placed upon us by a society that loves to categorize and contain. For some, the story is the victim. For others, it's the failure, the broken one, or the underachiever. You look in the mirror, and all you see is the reflection of that external script. A script that has shackled your potential and dimmed your internal light. But I ask you, who holds the pen now? Is the author of your future going to be the tragedy of your past? Is it going to be the careless word of an ex-lover or the dismissive judgment of a former boss? Absolutely not. That narrative is merely the first rough draft. And you are the only one with the authority, the absolute, inherent power to demand a rewrite. Reclaiming your narrative is a fierce, courageous, and often terrifying act of war against inertia. It means taking the pain, the scars, the moments you wish you could bury forever, and flipping them over to find the evidence of your survival. Those marks are not points of shame. They are the battle wounds of a warrior who refused to fall permanently. They are the credentials that prove you have earned the right to speak about resilience. The art of bouncing back is a myth. You don't bounce back to the way you were, because who you were wasn't strong enough to handle what happened. You bounce forward. You become an entirely new structure, stronger in the broken places, wiser in the moments of fear, and utterly fearless in the face of what others deem impossible. Your past doesn't define you. It merely informs your strength. This means you must stop giving your power away to external validation. Stop waiting for someone to give you permission to be happy, to succeed, or to simply exist without apology. The moment you put yourself first, you declare yourself the sole and final authority on your worth. You are not waiting for a jury to declare you innocent, worthy, or whole. You declare it yourself, with conviction. Write the story you want to live. What is the title of the next chapter? Does it feature a hero who is hiding, ashamed, and small? Or does it feature a protagonist who is rising, defiant, and radiantly real? Every morning is a new page. Use your pain as ink, use your lessons as the guiding plot points, and let your future self be the glorious, unapologetic main character. It is time to burn that old script. Release the need to justify your existence or explain your past. Your only responsibility is to live the new narrative so fiercely, so authentically, that the light shining from your rewritten ending obliterates the shadow of what came before. The power of the uncomfortable. No, we are taught from childhood that no is an obstruction, a negative force, a sign of selfishness. We are programmed to be agreeable, to be compliant, to be the person who smooths over rough edges and keeps the peace at all costs. We are so terrified of causing a ripple, of creating a moment of friction, that we swallow the word yes, even when it feels like a stone choking our own throat. But I want to tell you the truth. The word no is not an obstruction. It is a full sentence, requiring no justification, no apology, and no footnotes. It is the most powerful word in the lexicon of self-respect. It is the firewall between the demands of the world and the sanctity of your soul. When you put yourself first, you must learn to wield this word with the precision and grace of a master swordsman. Saying no is an act of fierce, unapologetic self-guardianship. It is a declaration that your boundaries, the ones we just talked about, are not suggestions, they are law. Every time you utter that uncomfortable, necessary no, You are reinforcing your own sense of value. You are telling your time, your energy, and your dreams, you are precious and I will defend you. The power of the uncomfortable no lies in the fact that it always feels harder in the moment you say it than it does an hour later. That instant wave of panic. Did I offend them? Will they still like me? Is just the old programming fighting back. You must push through that feeling. You must embrace the short term discomfort for the long term, lasting peace that it delivers to your spirit. Understand this. When you say no to a request that will deplete you, you are not closing a door, you are opening one. You are opening the door to the things that truly matter, the work that feeds your soul, the rest that renews your strength, the time spent pursuing your own forgotten dreams. You are clearing the clutter of other people's agendas from the precious space of your own life. The people who truly value you, the ones who deserve a seat at your table, will respect the no. They will understand that your time is precious and that your refusal is not personal. It is simply a statement of capacity. The people who get angry, who manipulate, who try to guilt you into changing your mind, they were never interested in you anyway. They were only interested in what they could take from you. Practice it in the mirror. Whisper it, then say it clearly. No, I can't. No, that doesn't work for me. No, thank you. Let it roll off your tongue until it loses its terror and gains its majesty. It is not selfish. It is sacred. The power of your life is directly proportional to your ability to articulate your own needs, and the word no is the sharp, shining edge of that power. Your imperfection is your superpower. We live in a world obsessed with a flawless, filtered, airbrushed version of reality. And we mistakenly believe that to be worthy of love, success, or acceptance, we must also be perfect. This pursuit of perfection is a prison, a gilded cage where we are constantly hiding our true selves, terrified that one misstep, one mistake, one exposed vulnerability will shatter the entire illusion. But I promise you, the beautiful, raw truth is this: perfection is paralyzed. It is static, frozen in fear, unable to move, unable to risk, and unable to truly connect. It is a lifeless ideal. Your true power does not reside in your flawless execution. It resides in your ability to be beautifully, defiantly, gloriously imperfect, and to own every jagged edge and every dented surface. When you finally put yourself first, you give yourself the radical permission to fail. You release the crushing weight of having to be everything to everyone, perfectly. You allow yourself to be messy, to change your mind, to fall down, and to have days where you are simply not operating at your supposed best. This is not weakness. This is true, profound humanity. Your fault lines, those metaphorical cracks and breaks in your spirit that you try so hard to conceal, are not evidence of your breakage. They are the evidence of your survival. They show the world where you were hit, and more importantly, they show where you held together. They are your story written in scar tissue, and that story is infinitely more compelling than any flawless facade. Embrace the mistakes. Treat every blunder not as a judgment on your worth, but as a mandatory, tuition-free lesson from the universe. The only true failure is the failure to learn, the failure to get back up, and the failure to risk another attempt. A life lived cautiously in pursuit of a perfect score is a life half-lived, starved of real, messy experience. This acceptance of your own flawed reality is the cornerstone of authentic connection. When you allow your own vulnerabilities to show, when you stop trying to appear strong and simply are strong, in your truth, you give others permission to be real too. Your willingness to be imperfect is a gift of liberation to everyone around you. So, let the hair be slightly undone, let the smile be genuine, even if it's crooked, and let your work be excellent but not agonizingly perfect. This is the moment to shed the mask of the ideal self. Your power is not in your facade, it is in your authentic, messy, fully realized, imperfect, and magnificent human self. The mirror test of happiness, we spend our lives outsourcing our happiness. We hand the keys to our inner peace to our children, saying, I can only be happy if they are successful. We give them to our partners, saying, I can only be whole if they love me fully. We give them to our careers, saying, my worth is equal to my title. We become dependent on external events, external people, and external approval for our most fundamental human right, joy. But what happens when the child struggles? What happens when the partner leaves? What happens when the job is lost? The entire foundation of your happiness collapses because the architecture was built outside of yourself. This is the ultimate self-betrayal, allowing someone else to be the gatekeeper of your own emotional state. When you put yourself first, you perform the mirror test. You stand before your own reflection, stripped of your roles and your titles, and you ask that person staring back, am I proud of you? Have I protected you? Have I nurtured your dreams? And you must be brutally, fiercely honest with the answer, because that person is the only non-negotiable constant in your entire life. That reflection, that soul staring back at you, is the one person absolutely guaranteed to be with you for every single breath, every sunrise, and every crisis until the very end. Your relationship with yourself is the single most important contract you will ever sign, and it is the only one you cannot afford to break or neglect. Reclaiming your happiness means taking those keys back. It means accepting that your joy is an internal job, an inner thermostat that you alone have the right to set. It is an act of radical self-responsibility to declare, my happiness does not depend on their approval, their presence, or their success. It depends on my commitment to myself. This internal commitment will be the magnet for everything good. When you are full, truly full, you stop chasing, you start attracting, you stop seeking validation, and start radiating worth. You become a beacon, not a beggar. You become a source of light, not a drain of energy. The mirror test requires you to invest in yourself, your mind, your health, your spirit, as if you were preparing for the most important role of your life, which you are. You are preparing to be the unwavering anchor in your own storm. You are preparing to be the hero of your own epic. So look in the mirror today. See the fighter. See the survivor. See the magnificent, flawed, powerful human being who deserves all the love she has been giving away so freely to the world. And promise her this: your needs come first. That is the beginning of true and unbreakable happiness. This entire journey, this profound exploration of boundaries, narrative, the power of no, embracing imperfection, and securing internal happiness, boils down to one essential and transformative act: taking back ownership of your life. We have spent too long living reactively, allowing external pressures, be they tragedy, expectation, or the fear of disappointing others, to dictate our worth and drain our vital energy. The moment you implement these 5 fierce laws, you are not merely practicing self-care. You are staging a peaceful revolution within your own heart. You are transitioning from being a supporting character in everyone else's drama to becoming the unstoppable, self-defined protagonist of your own extraordinary story, using your scars not as symbols of shame, but as maps to your deepest strength. So let us walk away from this moment with a shared, unwavering commitment that the highest form of loyalty is loyalty to self. Stop seeking permission to be whole, to be happy, or to be imperfect. Stand firmly behind the boundary you have drawn, fiercely edit the narrative that diminishes you, and let the resonant sound of your unapologetic no echo into the future. By doing this, you ensure that the person you see in the mirror is not just a survivor, but a radiant architect of her own destiny, a powerful force who finally, irrevocably, put herself first.